I had an interest in tattoos really young. I have one brother who's completely covered from his fingers to his ears. He has his forehead done too, the back of his head, all of his legs, completely covered. Some of my earliest memories of hanging out with him, like looking at his skin and just being so intrigued by it and wondering. I remember one of my biggest wonders was like, can you feel that? Like you have a tattoo, does it physically feel any different? And it didn't make sense to me, but I always thought they were really cool. And I've always been into art. And I got my first tattoo when I was 14. It was pretty out of whim, I guess. I had a friend who had gotten a tattoo across his back. My buddy Matt Thomas, he got his last name across his back, and I just thought it was super cool. I was like, that's sweet, man. Like, we're only 14 and 15 at the time, though, so I thought it was pretty bonkers. There's been a good handful of times, like, my living situation wasn't the greatest, or I was hopping from couch to couch, and I'm telling you, there's something about, like, living out of a tote when, like, all of your belongings can fit in one physical thing that you can carry with your hands. It's like, it's a low. It can feel like one, and it did for me anyway. And that had happened to me, a couple of times really early in my life, and the feeling of like not having anywhere to hang your shit. You know what I mean? Like my room is my sanctuary. The things that I love the most, I decorate my room with, and some people don't have home, so they don't have a place to hang their stuff. This is like my way of having a place to hang my things no matter where I'm at. I can do that with my tattoos. My entire left sleeve is for my brother Buddha that passed away. We had started with just the type 1 diabetes ribbon and the rose heads. There was nothing in between, the violin as well. And that artist and my brother had worked with him, and there was a falling out, so I was unable to get any more work done by him, and I just kind of let it sit for a while, and it looked really empty. It was just all these scattered pieces, and it wasn't at all how I wanted to represent my brother. And then a gentleman by the name of Monk actually had to go back in and fix this ribbon for me. I've spent a lot of tattoo sessions and a lot of hours just to get it done. After that, a gentleman by the name of Fish, Stephen Warner, he did my brother's nickname. He's actually named after my father, Calvin McBrayer, and we called him Buddha because he was a fat little baby. And I think maybe like twice in my life had I ever even jokingly called him by his real name. It just wasn't it. And so we had just had the scattered pieces on my forearm and then his name, and I was kind of left without a direction of where I wanted to go with it. I was really afraid to get an actual portrait done because if it didn't look like him, I gotta wear that for the rest of my life, and the last thing I want to do is cover up my brother's face. So one day I was actually hanging out in my living room, and my brother used to work at the Toledo Zoo, and there was someone there that did caricature work, and they had drawn my brother, and I mean, it looks exactly like him. It dawned on me that I know an artist that does really good new school work, and I already have the artwork done, so the hard work is, there's no pressure there. So I took it to one of my good friends, Tony Touch, and I told him, like, hey, I just want to tie this entire sleeve together and make it look like one person had done it. I don't want to keep going to different artists trying to tie this together and have it look really wonky. So he had done my brother's portrait, and then over the course of the next 2 years, we had filled everything in, and the last thing that we actually finished with was Buddha on my hand. And I slept on that for a long time because I was just really nervous about tattooing my hands. And I actually had a conversation with TJP because he, over the course of like 2 months, tattooed both of his arms and hands. And I asked him if how long he had debated about doing his hands. And he was like, dude, I loved it the moment I was done with it. You just got to do it. Just do it and don't think about it. And it's actually, aside from my brother's face, it's my favorite part of his sleeve. And I can't hide it because I don't want to. having my brother's face on my arm for the rest of my life, and for every moment that may or may not happen here in wrestling or anywhere else, if it's captured, my brother's always in it with me. I think that's beautiful.